Right, let me...
Now, again from the top.
Or not.
If it gets there.
It's doing its best.
I don't want to cut into admission time any more than I have to, so I'm just going to get going.
Oh, thanks.
So, quick things. Membership is $6 for the semester. If you get membership, you can get all sorts of cool things like pre-ordering movie tickets, discounts on swag like t-shirts, keychains. You can get all that from Tulio over there at any point. We're also selling sodas. They're $1 a can, and all the proceeds go to the International Bipolar Foundation. But our biggest event coming up, which may or may not come up while I'm talking about it, is Starfest, RIT's biggest sci-fi convention. We hope you all are there. The guest of honor is going to be Michelle Tchaikovsky, who is the creator of Ava's Demon. For those of you who haven't read Ava's Demon, it's a webcomic. It's about a girl in a cyberpunk universe who has to battle the demons within herself, and in an attempt to overthrow a alien overlord. If you want, it's cool. Colors are gorgeous. If you want, you can get your tickets here today, or you can get them online at Starfest. What's the URL?
Starfest.ritstar.com.
Starfest.ritstar.com.
Just Google RIT Starfest, you'll find it.
Yeah. If you want to help us make it even more amazing, you can come to Starfest Planning Committee, which meets Sundays at noon here in the SAU in Clark B, which is right around there upstairs. We also have some other fun committees. There's PR committee, where you can flex your creative juices, make some posters, make some Valentines we're doing right now, and all sorts of fun stuff. You can get PR points, which get you really cool prizes like t-shirts, stickers, or you can get entered into a drawing for one of our movie tickets. Like our upcoming movies, Pacific Rim Uprising or Avengers Infinity War, when we go see those. The PR meets Wednesdays at 6:30, usually right across the hall there. Master Committee is it this Thursday?
It is this Thursday.
All right. You want to tell people about Webmaster Committee?
Webmaster Committee. So there's this cool thing that Star has discovered. It's called the Internet, and we want to be on it. If you want to help us be on it, then come to Webmaster Committee Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. In this building. Especially if you are a software engineering or other web-related major, this is a great way to show that you are contributing to an open source project, build your GitHub portfolio. Companies love that. But also, if you just want to learn how to make websites, come and we'll teach you how we make websites.
So, our last committee that we're going to talk about today is Book Club. They just meet at 6:30, and this time they are reading The Naked Sun by Isaac Asimov. I know. Yeah, it just isn't good.
It is. Wait, can you do it again? Why? Wait, is it off?
It is off. Well, anyway, there's only one more thing to talk about. Our next big outing is going to be February 16th to go see Black Panther, Regal Cinema 18. Members can pre-purchase tickets over at Tulio. The movie we're going to see is at 7 o'clock. If you want to carpool with us, you can meet in the SAU lobby at 5:30. And without further ado, I believe that's it.
Can I have a question?
Yeah, you can have. I think it works.
Oh boy.
Well.
We'll see pretty soon. This is your captain speaking. My name is Ava Enoch, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a fourth-year mechanical engineering student. I like space, and I also like robot companions. And we're going to talk about those tonight. I promise. We are going to talk about robots. Does the computer not like the robots? Is that what the issue is? There's no favoritism here.
My computer wants to start a robot uprising.
Ask Cortana.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that right now because it doesn't want to do things. So maybe we'll just wait a sec for it to show up. So how's week 3? It's week 3 now? Yeah? It's week 3 now. Oh no. That good? My week 3's okay. Oh, yes. 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 So, there's the screen. Tonight we're going to talk about robot companions. I have up here. Yes. One of my favorite robot companions, and a cat. I have put as many cats as reasonable in this presentation, which was a surprising amount. Yes.
Is it actually reasonable?
No. It's a lot. Space.
What about space cats?
Those are good too.
Death Star.
What?
The Death Star, the Red Lantern cat.
Ooh. Is he a robot? Or no? Red Lantern. That's yes.
Do raccoons count as cats?
No, those are raccoons.
I mean, it counts
Is it what? Yes. Okay.
Or trash pandas?
Yeah.
Poor trash pandas. So we're going to start off talking about some common tropes that we see in robots in sci-fi. Some of the main things that you think about for robots in sci-fi is that they are really, really smart. If we're talking about stereotypical robots, they are cold and they have a level of innocence about not really understanding the human world, maybe not really understanding how to interact with the things around them. Even though they are very smart, that doesn't always translate into social cues. Same with coldness. Being very smart also doesn't always go directly into social cues and being kind to people. But what we'll find tonight with a lot of the robots that we talk about, especially when they are paired with people, when they're robot companions, they break a ton of those tropes. Because being around people makes them do different things, act different ways, have goals. Before we super jump into that, we are going to go to one of my favorite robot and companion duos, Tim and Moby. And we're going to watch a Brain Puff video because we can. And I think that's what's making everything so slow. So once we finish with that, it should be better. Yes.
That's not Mars, it's... Wait a second, you want me to say that other planet? Dear Tim and Moby, is there life on Mars? From Conrad. Yeah, a lot of you have been asking if Moby's a Martian. He isn't. Actually, he's from... Moving on. The short answer is, we don't know if there's any life on Mars. There's definitely no intelligent life. You know, the kind that can build cities and stuff. But Mars has enough in common with Earth that there might be simpler forms of life there. They're more alike than you might think. Mars is the 4th planet from the Sun, the next closest after us. It has a similar tilt, which gives it 4 seasons. And it's terrestrial, which means it's made of rocks and minerals. If you landed on the Martian surface, you'd notice many of the same natural features we have here on Earth. There are canyons and mountains, and its poles have ice caps, just like ours. Yep, you can see Mars without a telescope. That's why people have been wondering about it since ancient times. Its reddish color led the ancient Romans to name it after their god of war. And as recently as the early 1900s, some astronomers were certain there was intelligent life up there. They interpreted some lines on the planet's surface as a network of canals. These could only have been created by an advanced society. Nope, they were completely wrong. The canals turned out to be an optical illusion caused by their telescope lenses. As technology improved, astronomers were able to learn a lot more about Mars. Orbiters and landers have been gathering data about the planet since the 1970s. Starting in the 1990s, NASA has sent a series of remote-controlled rovers to explore the surface. So in the last 40 years, there's been a flood of new information about Mars' climate and geology. Well, like we now know that Mars is red because its surface is covered in iron oxide that are known as rust. And we've learned about Mars' massive dust storms, which can cover the entire planet. So far, no mission has uncovered any evidence of life, but NASA has found some tantalizing hints. The most important clue is the substance that all life depends on. No, water. Most scientists believe that a planet needs liquid water to support life. It can deliver nutrients to living cells and dissolve waste. Mars has a very thin atmosphere, so it doesn't trap heat like ours does. The average surface temperature is way below zero. So even though Mars does have water, it's mainly locked up as ice. And the air is mostly carbon dioxide, so it would be impossible for creatures like us to breathe. Right, plants and other organisms can breathe carbon dioxide. And here on Earth, there are microorganisms that thrive in the cold with little or no oxygen. So it's possible that Mars might support more basic forms of life. Recent evidence has hinted at where these Martians could live. Satellite photos of mountains and craters reveal something strange. During the Martian spring and summer, dark streaks grow down their slopes. When the weather gets cold again, recent analysis confirms that these streaks are what they appear to be, flowing streams of water. Right, even in the summer, most places on Mars are still freezing, but the streams are filled with a chemical that keeps them liquid at very cold temperatures. No life form on Earth could survive in this stuff, but on Mars, it's entirely possible. Anyway, even if Mars is lifeless now, that doesn't mean it was always so. There's plenty of evidence that long ago, water flowed freely throughout the Martian year. There are riverbeds and other landforms that seem like they were carved by flowing water. If that's true, there's a good chance that Mars once supported life. Since it's more than 4 billion years old, it's kind of difficult to say when. No, silly, those are Mars moons, Phobos and Deimos. Martian battle destroyers? They're tiny chunks of barren rock. Did you even listen to a word I said?
All right, so as we can see from there, Moby doesn't follow all of the typical robot tropes. He isn't super cold. He's not that smart. His role in a lot of the videos is to ask questions, sort of prompt Tim to keep going. I mean, he might be smart, but it's for the bit, you know. It's a good time. But Moby is one of the robots that I'm pretty sure a lot of us grew up with and spent a lot of time with. Yeah?
Kind of like R2D2. He's smart and probably is. He just prefers to just be speaking cute little beeps.
Yeah. I hadn't watched Brain Pop in like years, and I played that one a couple days ago, and just the pattern of beeps was just instant. Oh, Brain Pop. I remember Brain Pop. But it's interesting to see how different robot characters break out of those 3 main robot tropes. It's usually part of their character development, if they have character development, that they are trying to either self-improve or they are unconsciously making themselves more like the people that are around them. Where'd it go? There it go. And that means that they're used in a lot of different ways narratively, because they can be put into a lot of slots, but with the added interesting bit of they are also a robot. It's like, this is my girlfriend. We have regular human-esque relationship troubles, but also robot. It's very interesting, and a lot of sci-fi goes into how interesting that can be. Look at Jenny, the teenage robot. She saves the world on like a daily basis, but also she has to go to high school. Yes?
She was built primarily to save the world, but she wants to live socially as a human teenager.
Yeah, she has her own wants, she has her own desires. She has a desire to be more like humans in that she wants to go to high school, she wants to have a normal-ish life. She doesn't really exhibit a lot of the typical coldness that we associate with robots, but that's just part of her character, which is rad. Yeah, so we're going to start with different narrative uses. Sometimes they are the pets, which is fun. When the robots are pets, they don't really go places narratively, like they don't really develop as characters for the most part. Like in Jimmy Neutron, Goddard is the dog. And by the end of the series, he is the dog. But he's also like a supporting character. Like he's not one of the main guys, but Goddard is great. Goddard is a dog. And it's sort of like he's a regular dog, but with tech built into him. So he's not really...
He said he literally self-destructs, so there's that.
Yeah, he's a dog with tech built into him, but he also uses the tech as a dog would, like what he has access to. Like he can self-destruct, which is neat. He is made of metal. K9 is a bit different because K9 is a bit more intelligent than Goddard, debatably. I don't remember if Goddard is able to do a lot mentally, but like, excuse me, K9 speaks, he plays chess, he does a lot of things. He answers questions with affirmatives, so he has a fun vocabulary. On the flip side, robots who have pets or interact with animals, it allows them to break out of that coldness trope and show compassion towards another living being. In Data's case, he gets a cat in order to further his project of becoming more human. Because humans have pets, humans show compassion towards pets. If I get a pet, that'll help me understand that, which it does. And I love Spot. And wait for my Cats in Sci-Fi panel and or mission. I'll talk a lot more about Spot. The biggest section of that. It is. They can also be caregivers. Again, with Baymax, it's very similar to when a robot is given a pet. It's like when robots are told that they are caring for other things. In this case, you can really see the narrative connection where it's important that they are a companion, that they are interacting with other people. Because for these guys, it is their job to do something for humanity. For Rosie, the robot maid in the Jetsons, it is her job to be the robot maid in the Jetsons, and she does that. And this is usually the area, same with K9, I believe, where we see that one of the traits that robots are quickest to adapt is sass. It really is. Because you don't need to be super nice to have sass. It can just be bluntness. You're good at that. We also have the robot from Lost in Space, and if you've ever heard someone say, "Danger, Will Robinson, danger," and not known where it came from this. And I found that out last week. So I live under a rock, but with cats. It's a nice rock with cats. I like it. And we keep going. Okay. So then we have where we got a lot of robots as like the fun robot sidekick. You have pretty much any robot in Star Wars. You have Marvin, yes.
What's that robot on the left?
Left? Oh, I'm sorry. This is C-3PO. You might not have recognized him because his arm is red. Yes.
Honest question though, who's the one not right?
Left, right. Weebo. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She has a really interesting role in, yeah.
And she can sometimes, augment her communication with television footage the way we use GIFs nowadays.
Yeah, she's a really cool character because Weebo and Flubber Flubber spoilers? We okay?
That's 20 years old.
Yeah, wait. Also,
What?
Wait,
what?
Did you say Flubber?
Yeah.
I thought that was a fever dream.
No, it wasn't.
No?
Yes.
Actually, it was a real life late 90s remake of The Absent-Minded Professor, starring Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a trip. But Weebo she is the absent-minded professor's sidekick, companion. Like, she links with him, she helps him do stuff, she sometimes helps remind him of things because he is absent-minded, but also she is in love with him. And she doesn't know how to deal with that because she is a robot and he is a human and he is falling in love with not her, but also, yeah.
To be fair, I've known a lot of humans who can't cope with that either.
Fair. Me too. But what's really interesting with her is that she thinks of herself as near human and she wants to be human because she wants to be with the professor. But at the same time, but she's trying to deal with that. And like, I forget who said it, but she does like supplement her her vocalizing with like clips from movies and songs and stuff. And it's really cool. And I like it a lot. Ow!
What category is this?
This is not a robot.
This is the computer that is mad at me. Okay, we good? I think we good. This is gonna be a good enough. So Weebo is a very interesting use of the robot sidekick because her emotions that she displays are very, very human, but her issue is not actually being human. That's kind of interesting with a lot of the sidekick characters because a lot of them act like humans and they like interact in a similar way that humans do, but they're not. And for some of them, that is a big plot point in their character arc. For some of them, that is just sort of a fact of life. If we take Marvin, the paranoid android, that is his full title. I just keep forgetting things today, guys. That's why I write it down. If we take him, he has a personality, but his personality is that he is severely depressed. So he acts kind of like a severely depressed person, but quite a lot more because it's more of a joke. He makes computers just kill themselves. And that makes people die because computers control a lot of things. But that's okay. He was in one of the earlier slides as well. That's just the form that they gave him to fit Alan Rickman in it. But he was originally supposed to be more like humanoid, which is kind of interesting that they decided to make him round but also very big. Like, he's big. Like a gigantic sphere.
Brain the size of a planet.
Small planet. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Alan Rickman only voiced it. There was another actor actually in the suit.
Alan Rickman is taller than how tall he was, so that would make sense. No, it was weird, because like he wasn't very tall, but he just took up a lot of space. He was wider than, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. I didn't expect him to be so large. Because if you take like R2-D2, it's like he's the size you expect that robot to be. That doesn't make the most sense. But R2-D2 has a lot of the same sort of feel as Moby from Brain Pop, because he does not say words, but he sassily beeps. Some people understand him. Some people pretend to understand him. I think everyone just pretends to understand him. Yes, Cameron.
There's a deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin actually speaks binary, like Hayden Christensen just moves his mouth, and later in they edit in just R2-D2 beeping noises.
What a skilled young man. I hear that's what happens if you graduate with a computer science degree. Is this not true? I feel like it's sometimes for robot sidekicks as well. The robot sidekick can also be used to sort of project yourself on. So it makes it easier for you to relate to the rest of the movie. Take C-3PO, he is computer stuff in his head, but also he's freaking out the entire time. Star Wars, many of us would also be freaking out the entire time. So he's funny comic relief, but also shockingly relatable. Like, if you are in a spaceship that looks like it's gonna fall apart, and you're like, we're all gonna die, and the guy who's flying the spaceship is like, I'm too cool for us to die. You'd be like, I don't know. That doesn't sound true. But it also makes the other people seem very cool, because some part of you is also thinking, wow, that robot is being irritating and crazy, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna die too. It makes you feel like the other characters are cooler when they tell the very excitable robot to please calm down. It's gonna be fine. Person. Very cool. Very calming. Oh, I'm curious how Clank fits into the different sidekick areas of robots. Who knows Ratchet and Clank? Yeah? Okay, yours was enthusiastically yes. How does Clank fit into the whole robot realm of like character development, or is he just sort of like a cute robot dude?
Well, so he definitely starts out as like the very much like, oh, we need to do our mission, and Ratchet's like, whatever, we'll get to it later. I want to go meet Captain Quark. And but like as they both like sort of mature as characters as the series goes on, for like Ratchet learns how to like be more responsible, and Clank learns how to like let loose a little bit and look at like the bigger picture of what's important. So they're definitely like friends, and they grow together.
I really like seeing that. They are very much robots and not human companions. And it's cool because that sort of character development in Clank would not happen without you not necessarily look up to, but to like work off of. In a lot of stuff, not a lot of stuff. In some stuff, the fun robot character is treated as pretty much regular member of the cast. It's not used as often because robots are fun sidekicks and robots are fun pets. Stuff, it works really well. Like for Tim and Moby, they work off of each other. Moby sort of prompts Tim with questions. If it was just Tim, it would be a bit more boring. But Moby does the weird stuff. And I was watching some more of those videos, and he's like surprisingly mean. It's like number one on the I'm gaining human traits. Sass is very much the first one you get. If you take Bender from Futurama, his relationship with Fry doesn't necessarily make him grow as an individual, but an individual who does not conform to the regular robot tropes. He may be cold at times, but he can also be very emotional. He may be smart at times, but he's usually very not. He just makes really bad decisions. That's not a Futurama spoiler. That's just the show. Yes.
Well, one thing that might be a spoiler.
Futurama spoilers?
It's only like.
How deep? Because I'm still finishing the.
Well, I think, I haven't seen it in a while, but I think he might have been programmed to make some bad decisions.
I think that was a storyline, maybe. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the canonical explanation is that he was pretty much just built to be a betting robot, and then his it got reconfigured when he smashed into the light bulb in the head museum with Fry on the Narrator's episode.
I think I actually remember that. Yeah.
I don't believe it's ever explicitly stated, but I do believe that is the canonical belief.
Nice, thank you. Bender is also one of the handful of robot companions who does not even, like, scratch the innocence trope. No, we don't play around with that. Yeah?
They even make fun of the evil twin as a goatee trope. As he has a spring called Flexo that has a goatee, and he's actually nicer than Bender.
I believe it. Everything is blue. I thought I saw more hands, but it's just more blue. But also, you get Data and Geordi, and their friendship is really great because Data is one of the robot characters who decides that he actively wants to become more human because that is what he wants to do. And his friendship with Geordi allows him to allows him to bounce different human traits off of him to see if he's doing it right. And it's really wonderful to watch. Yes?
Similar story to Detective Spooner and the site from iRobot.
Okay, cool. I haven't.
You haven't seen iRobot?
No.
It's alright.
What?
I didn't know you haven't seen iRobot.
I have not.
It's a solid
It is
very little to use what we're talking about.
Cool beans. But I think that Data's growth as an android man who wants to be more like a human, really, really interesting. If you watch an episode from early Star Trek Next Gen and then later Star Trek Next Gen, you can see how much character growth there is just in the way that he moves and the way that he talks and the way that he interacts with people. It's so cool. Yes?
I think Astro Boy might have dealt with robots that are not quite equals to humans, but getting there, I guess.
Yeah. Does anyone else have other examples of different sci-fi where robots are treated as an equal to the humans? Yeah.
The Mega Man franchise, at
Yeah.
least. I only really know the Mega Classic series and the X series, but so basically a lot of the robots in Mega Man are sort of worker companions, but some of them want to become more human, and especially as X series goes on, they're sort of on par with humans, almost indistinguishable sometimes, but conflict between humans and robots, some want to make peace with each other, others just want to war with each other.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes for narrative purposes, the robot in question needs to develop some more before they can reach a point where they are seen as, at least by how the narrative is structured, where they are seen as equal to the human or whatever species are the main characters. Yeah, John.
I was actually going to bounce off of that Mega Man thing. It definitely varies throughout the series as to how robots stand socially.
like you mentioned, in the X series, they are kind of treated equally. In the Zero series, though, they're like genocided because there's an energy shortage. But then, because people realize genocide is bad, they they kind of like combine robots and humans in ZX, and it's really weird, but it's really cool.
That sounds really cool. Okay. But it's definitely interesting to see when robots are treated as like an equal in the main cast, if it's because they have worked to become that, or if that's just their deal. Like Fender, that is just his deal. Moby, that is his deal. Data is actively trying very hard to be like people. Yeah?
I haven't watched the movie, but I watched the TV show of Lego Ninjago. One of the four, I don't know if the movie changed it, but Zane is a robot or cyborg or something. And it's basically just one of the gang.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
There's the androids in the Alien franchise.
Oh. Yeah.
The androids in the Dragon Ball series.
I remember hearing about those in the Androids mission. Yeah.
Entirety of the Terminator franchise.
Entirety of the Terminator franchise is accurate. Yeah.
Well, there's this obscure anime, Nika Jay, I think I mentioned it once before, but
I think so.
Jay is the name of a robot who is supposed to be the companion and like partner of the human hero Daisuke. It's a bit of a complicated version because while Jay is treated as an equal to Daisuke and is programmed to be able to relate to him as an equal, it's also set in a world in which a lot of people don't like robots and do believe entirely that robots should depend on people. So that's kind of a plot point as well.
That's really interesting. A bit later, we're going to talk about how robots in sci-fi are used to talk about different social issues, but applied to robots. Yeah.
I think you might be getting to it a little bit later then, but Battlestar Galactica, the Cylons have that character, so they just talked about that some of them are seen, they're an allegory for social issues that we have, but some of them are eventually accepted socially into the main cast, but they are certainly equals, if not superior, in their functionality and capability with the humans.
Awesome. Yeah.
The human form replicators from Stargate where they want to just consume them all and take over everything. Worse than the Borg.
Yeah.
The Transformers, I guess?
Sure. I mean, they're also gigantic and could step on us.
Like, depending on the series and like, I guess, but like sometimes they're treated as equal, sometimes like they're like treated as gods, sometimes they're viewed as like worse, but I mean, most of the time they're like, at least like the humans, the Autobots, the humans see Autobots like, okay, you guys can hold it.
This is my robot friend. He's like 10 feet tall.
Technically Blade Runner.
Yeah, technically. Especially because it's like the robot. Who's a robot? Are they a robot? I don't know. I don't know. But if we go past equals and also the trope sort of mixes, where the robot is the hero. And usually when the robot is the hero, the story is about the robot. Not always, but are. Like, if we take Jenny, the teenage robot. What is that popping? Oh no. If we take Jenny, the teenage robot, she is very much of her show. And she saves the day a ton. She could also be seen in some points in her show as like an equal to the other characters who she interacts with, like the different teenagers in her high school, because she's trying to be like them. But also, she's saving the world every day. And it's awesome. She just can't go in the rain because she will rust. You get Transformers down here too, because they are used in so many ways, like you said, because sometimes they are very much like the, holy crap, gigantic robots, these are the heroes, or holy crap, gigantic robots, very scary, let's make them leave, or my giant robot friend is very tall and my best friend. We also have Baymax from Big Hero 6 again, because he is a hero, but not so much from character development, more so from, it's what he's supposed to do, so he's gonna do it. He has to keep heroes safe, so he's gonna put on this armor and let him fly on top of him to save the world. And then we have the Iron Giant, who is so cool, because he goes through this whole journey of not knowing who he is. He's very innocent, he's not very smart. It's not that he's cold, he's trying very hard to relate to Hogarth, but he has to develop as a character, figure out what he wants to do, and he decides that he wants to save the world and be Superman. Yeah?
Sequence in the Signature Edition is saying, like, you might have been one of many robots designed to destroy planets, but hey,
Yeah.
you are who you choose to be.
So interesting. I love it so much.
Although there's a theory that reverts back to his base form at the end of the movie. So he ends up destroying the Earth anyway.
That's not as happy.
Oh, no, I just bring it up.
That's okay.
Already know, if you go by the second half of the book, the Iron Man, there's that space bat angel dragon who shows us. He's like,
What? Not space dragons? Is it also a robot?
the book that inspired the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
The book that inspired the movie had like, I still haven't finished reading it, but there's like this huge space dragon thing that shows up in like the second half for some reason.
That's awesome. But yeah, a lot of the time the robots are the heroes of either their own story or other people's stories, and they're used in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's about character development. I'm saving the world, but also I really just want to be kind of normal. I just want to hang out with my friends, but it is my duty to save the world. Or I decided to save the world because I'm one of the idiots who lives here. Ah, why?
Good job, Rocket.
Also, I was curious. I think Chibi Robo is the hero of his own little stories, which is adorable and very sweet. He's doing his job. But if we keep going, and I forget what my notes are, because I wrote them not that long ago, but like, my memory's like nothing. One of the biggest things that we have to think about when a robot is a hero is what's going on when they're not a hero, because that is very telling. When Baymax is not a hero, he is helping hero, or he's in his little box thing, because that is his function, that is what he wants to do, that is what he's programmed to do. He isn't in it to have character development. He's in it to help hero have character development. The Iron Giant, on the other hand, when he is not being the hero, he is trying to become more human. Yeah.
Can we start being here and being art?
Yes! Such a good movie. We went back into theaters like a couple years ago for like a week. It was great. If you look at Astro Boy, what does he not do? What is he doing when he's not being a hero?
Living with his family.
Yeah. He's just being. What?
Joining the circus for a bit.
Yeah. He's doing other stuff because he wants to. Because it's not what he's programmed to do, it's what he wants to do. With the Transformers, it varies. In some of the like, just sort of hang out in a warehouse until it's time to be heroes again. Yeah, or be cars. They're very much like have human-esque personalities, but are robots, which is kind of fun. I assume there are arcs where they want to be more human, but it's like, oh, drat, I'm 10 feet tall, and that's difficult. But for the most part, they have human personalities and save the world and are also cars, which is fun. Cars. But if we take robots who do have character development, they usually follow something along the lines of this. They start as some sort of project. Like, if we take Data, he started as Noonien Soon's project to create androids. And and then they usually end up in some form of employment of others. Like, if you take a ton of robots, they start off as like, this is my job to do this, and I'm going to do my job because that is what I'm programmed to do. Then they decide that they want to help people or be like an active member of society with more free will. Sometimes they want to be like people, not all the time, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they just decide they like people and they want to help us instead of kill us, which I get it. And then after they decide that they want to help people, usually they end up doing something good, doing something cool, doing something awesome, which makes people realize that you're the most human out of everyone all along. Like the Iron Giant, all along, he was the most human out of all of us. So if we pivot a little bit, back to some of the stuff that was brought up earlier. In a narrative sense, robots, even without their companions and friends, are used to talk about a lot of relevant topics in the real world, but bring them into sci-fi. Because it is a question today, but not really a pressing question today, about robot sentience, that is brought up a lot in sci-fi because they have robots who are treated as like sentient beings. And this lets people talk a lot about like the rights of robots, and that can be translated very easily into human rights. What makes you so different from me, and what rights do I have that he would not? And I think Star Trek does that really well, because Star Trek does a lot of things really well. But do we have any other examples of how robots bring human rights into light? I know you mentioned Cylons from Battlestar, yes? Yes.
No man escapes the manhunt.
What?
They were a project prior to the Green Lantern Corps that the Owens of Malthus established as a means of a peacekeeping force, but they corrupted either whether by interference or just based in their programming. They then perceived emotion as a corruption and thus an effect unless they slaughtered billions if not trillions throughout the galaxy.
Oh, it was a good idea in theory.
And thus it caused the Red Lanterns to come. So thank them for that. So
that's rad. Yeah.
I guess the doctor from Star Trek Voyager. As a talking tricorder, I think that's what he says.
Yeah.
And by the end of the series, he's accepted as one.
That's a really good example. Yeah. You.
The Borg from Star Trek also are a very good example because they're cyborgs. They have a collective mind, and so there's that battle between humans and Borg of do we eradicate the Borg, do we get rid of them because they're a threat to us, or do we treat them as equals and try and find some peaceful solution to this?
That's awesome. Yeah.
The sense fall forward. And in the dilemma of like, do we like save them when they need to, write the memories so they can live them alive, or do we give it back and see that they are a threat to humans that they need to be programmed to be killers or something?
Yeah, sci-fi uses robots as an awesome platform to talk about human rights without talking about human rights.
I was going to make a case for robots in iRobot.
You can if you want.
So it's been a while since I've seen the film, but I believe it tackled like the legal system, justice, free will, disorder, that kind of stuff. Like, because I remember that there was like this AI that basically took over most of the robots to moral guardians for all the humans. Just that being like, controlling part of them. And then I think the one robot went AWOL to try and stop this hive mind. It's been a while since I've seen it.
That's all right.
If I'm making any errors.
Purposely made it so that he was separate, as he knew the AI was starting to act against him.
Oh.
And another one, Michael Man.
Asimov?
Bicentennial Man, well, there's a movie of it, but it's an Asimov story about a robot that ends up becoming basically a part of the family he was serving and living for 200 years and dying as a human. He actually created artificial organs and everything else to make himself human and created a degradation in his autotronic brain so that he would eventually
Oh my gosh.
pass, so he could be human.
That's awesome.
And upon his death, the United Nations granted him human status.
That's a little late. That's really cool though.
He fought for it and got it right as he passed.
Cool.
Kid from Knight Rider.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Kid from Knight Rider.
Okay, I don't know a lot about Knight Rider. Can you?
I don't know a lot about Knight Rider either, but I know Kit is David Hasselhoff's car. And it's
Oh!
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
Okay, cool. Yeah?
Just all of the Blade Runner.
All of the Blade Runner is correct, yes. We can also talk about, you guys remember that movie Robots? They were all like really, yes.
I never watched it. And I
They were all like really colorful, but they used the whole, they used it as like to talk about both technology advancing and like social class differences. Yeah, it's such a good movie. Yeah.
A storybook artist did, William Joyce.
That's wonderful.
Robinson's.
Yeah. No, I love that movie. Robin Williams is Bender, but not that one. He's like a red robot and he's falling apart. But it is such a cool movie to like analyze as like, because they're trying to say stuff about like, you have to have these upgrades in order to continue living, but this group of people can't afford them, but they still have to be upgraded or they're going to get sent to the chop shop. And it's like, it's kind of dark if you look at it in terms of like potential human rights kind of stuff, but it's really interesting and done really well, and it's a fun movie. Yeah.
It's capitalism.
Yeah, it is, but colorful. It's very fun. I also really like the design of the robots in that. I'm just going to take a little side thing. I love the design of the robots. I think they are so cool. Like the robots that are like falling apart, because they're made of just. And the one that Amanda Bynes is, she has like ponytails and they like move, and it's awesome. Robots are also used, namely WALL-E, to talk about environmentalism, because even though he is a robot, he has decided that he cares very much about this little plant that he put in a shoe. And WALL-E is just very good. But WALL-E's also an interesting robot because he doesn't follow some of the main robot tropes. He's very innocent. And he may be intelligent as in like his brain is a computer, but he doesn't know a lot of stuff. He's just sort of bumbling through and doing his best, and he does a wonderful job. And he's not very cold. That could be attributed to he has a little cockroach friend, and he is very connected to him emotionally. And he watches old movies, and it's very cute, and he wants love.
Have you ever heard the theory that WALL-E murdered all the other robots that were like him?
Oh, I did not. That's dark. Why would he do that?
This is why.
How would he do that?
You know he scraps them for parts.
Well, yeah, but like, why would he?
Maybe they just broke down under environmental conditions and he salvaged the parts that were still useful to keep himself going.
I just kind of assumed that that was what was up.
Yeah.
But like, whoa, man. Whoa. Whew. He's just like, he doesn't have sharp bits. He can push stuff, but like, he's not very sharp.
He has a trash compactor inside of him. I don't know. It sounds like
That's true. That's not very sharp, though. I like Mo. You guys remember Mo in WALL-E? Yeah, he just did that. He cleans stuff, and his whole thing is that he just wants to clean, and WALL-E keeps leaving a mess, and so he follows him. You guys have seen WALL-E probably. I just like it a lot.
Mo, that's one man.
Yeah. Eve is also really interesting in Wally because we're going back a bit into like the development of robot characters, but she is very much on Earth to do her job, and she ends up caring a lot about this weird little broken down robot who is so cute. It's a wonderful film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I think kind of everyone has seen it though, so I'm just fangirling here. Does anyone else want to bring up any relevant environmentalism robots or robots who are used in a way to talk about environmentalism? Yeah.
What is the robots in Silent Running? It's been a while, but there's like the only plants left on Earth or something, and they're like they stuck them in a space station. I don't really remember much of it, but it's like, and they're gonna destroy it or something. So there's this guy, and then there's like robots. So I really remember.
That's okay. That's cool though. Yeah.
Mega Man 04 is all about Zero trying to stop an evil scientist from shooting a giant space laser in the only nature left on Earth.
Oh.
Whoa, okay.
Technically.
It sure is, technically.
Wait,
Yeah.
You're talking specifically about robots, stories with robots, but the robots are on the side of the environmentalists?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Okay. You can talk about the other side if you want to.
Oh, that.
I'm not gonna stop you.
A lot of Sonic games, well, the ones with kind of like coherent storylines. Simpler, not unnecessarily confusing storylines, have a lot of this like nature versus artificial themes, where Sonic and the other animals are rescuing animals and eggs them side use more of the robots, and levels get progressively more artificial and more full of robots as you approach the final level.
That's cool.
More in the older games. The newer ones, not kind of new yet, have more convoluted storylines, but that makes sense.
I think I remember something from Joe's environmentalism mission last year. Isn't there a thing with Transformers where they go on a whole like environmentalism thing where they're like, we gotta save all the environment, but the other robots say no?
In the original cartoon, there was one episode focused around my favorite Transformer, whose name is Beachcomber, and he's the pacifist Transformer who doesn't want to fight, he's supposed to protect nature. And then the Decepticons found a golden lake in the middle of the forest that made them more powerful, and then the Autobots came and was like, well, we're gonna go to the lake too, and then we'll be powerful, stop you guys, and they fought in the forest, and the Autobots won with the forest kind of destroyed, and they're like, yay, we won, and Beachcomber's like, yeah, but at what cost? And then like the dark ending.
Yeah.
Since we're on environmentalism, Sonic kind of has Robo from Chrono Trigger. It was like one side quest where you go back in the past, like this forest was destroyed in a forest fire. Your robot companion Robo stays behind, like to replant the forest, and then you travel into the future 600 years to re-find them. He's all rusted and stuff like that, but the forest has grown back.
Cool beans. Yeah.
The robots from Lafayette Castle in the Sky, they protect the last bit of Lafayette, and they basically keep watch over all the plants, animals, and everything on the Mario City.
Nice. Yeah.
Not necessarily that sentient, but a lot of the villains of Captain Planet were robots.
Gotcha.
Huh. Cool. Also, especially if we look at brain. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cameron.
There's that whole Mario Odyssey level with the cool robots that are protecting the garden.
Oh yeah. I like them. They're strange. Yeah.
I thought of something for human rights. And Ghost in the Shell, at least the standalone Netflix TV series, the Tosh Promo, which is what I'm thinking of. So like how the Major doesn't really view them as important, but like Bacho is all sympathetic towards them. So that's
100%. Nice one. Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly which category it falls onto.
That's okay. That.
The Pixar theory as a whole kind of relates to this because it depicts humans and non-human animals and machines is locked into this endless struggle for dominance.
Oh
So I
my
guess
God.
that's kind of robots related to like real issues.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry?
The humans and animals support, it's how
Fair? I guess. But also some other things that robots are able to do is that they bring a lot of the hard learning into sci-fi. Like, it's pretty easy to have your robot character just sort of spew facts because they know facts. It's pretty much the opposite in Brain Pop, which is kind of neat because Moby just beeps, but he does his best and he cares about learning. Does anyone else have any other like prominent everyday topics that robots in sci-fi are really used to just sort of like push, but no, it's robots. It's okay if you don't, we can keep going. Yeah?
I had one for a robot that was just trying to learn and figure itself out. Short circuit, the main robot ends up getting struck by lightning and becoming sentient, trying to figure out what it is, what its life is, and wouldn't you like to be at number 2? Reading things, discovering the world, and ending up.
Definitely a movie worth watching, by the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of robots' journeys of like deciding that they want to be more like humans can be very relatable to people who want to figure out how to interact with people better. It's really beautiful, and I have many feels about Data.
Chappie is also things that get addressed in that film. None of which are necessarily up here, but
That's okay. Yeah.
those are all very interesting analog for a child and how you treat something that's growing up that's different.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Just now I thought of a real world robot that supports the environment. Roombas.
Yeah, man.
And there's environments like the immediate one.
Aw. Yeah.
So not a robot companion because it's just one small robot, but I can't spoil this because I still haven't finished it. Apologies to the creator, but a small robot story. At the start, you're in the factory and the enemies are fighting around the robots, but then in the next level, you are in the woods where there are animals, and the game differentiates between like you can destroy a robot that can repair itself later, and you sort of getting it out of your way so they can't kill you, but they can be repaired as fine, versus killing an animal, which stays dead. The game at 23 forces that.
Oh. Huh. Everything is so blue. Okay. I hope there aren't any hands because I'm blind.
I actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So there's actually a series currently going on called Adam. It's actually made by the director of District 9. I can't remember his name. But the story basically is that there's a society on Earth, I think so, that they get rid of all their infected felons by uploading their minds into robot bodies and just keep them out of the city as well. So at the moment like that, or like how do you deal with your personal population? So, it's very interesting. There's only 3 episodes, like 5, 7 each long.
Huh.
And it's interesting about it. It's made in real time using TV engine, so can't do it.
That sounds really interesting. Okay, you can see again. Now I would like to completely open it up to anyone who wants to talk about any robot buddies that they have that I may have missed. Some interesting questions that we can discuss with those robots, like, do they have friends? How are they treated by their friends, by other people? Are the robots their friends? Are they like their caretaker? Do they fit into any of the narrative areas that we talked about? Do they develop, or do they just sort of stay the same? Like, it's their job and they do their job and that's about it. And how do they break the common robot tropes, and what of those tropes do they break? Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite basic examples would be Kibo from Downward Nova V3. Basically, he's since Downward Nova is a series of
spoilers up?
yeah.
No?
Okay. Is everyone fine with this?
Yeah.
I will keep playing spoilers only. So basically, Kibo is created as the ultimate robot. So he kind of just like he's just more self-aware than a lot of other robot companions. Like he's definitely trying to become more human, and I'd say like he does a better job at it than a lot of others for beginning their stories. Though he still has trouble with social cues and like certain idioms literally.
To be fair, he is very social cues on the game hacking, so.
He's
very social cues on the games and game, so.
Yeah, fair point. And sort of story arc where he kind of becomes more human in the late game. I don't want to spoil it because there's a lot of shit that goes down in the final chapters of the game.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah,
Clever bot?
Oh my gosh. It's been a hot second. Yeah.
Yeah, just Cleverbot sort of adapts to it chats with humans and learns from humans to try and chat back.
Yeah, is that still a thing?
Yeah, it's still going. And sometimes people have put a Cleverbot into a conversation with another Cleverbot, and they sometimes bring in some interesting topics.
Or like it's similar aspect like Alexa and Siri and Google Home. Like we're beginning to have actual robot companions right now.
Yeah.
So,
But what will their character development bring? Yeah, Joe?
Going back to Kibo, something else that's not spoilery, but like I already got. So like anything wrong with the point like across all the games, all the characters are ultimate they're talented at something, they have some talent. And it's just being a robot, and some of the characters are kind of teasing for it. It's like, hey, we're all here because we're good at a thing, and you're just here because you happen to be a robot.
And some are better, some are worse at triggering than others.
That's interesting. Like you know, it's like he's not particularly like talented robot. He just is a robot. They established early on they didn't have like robot strength. He has fairly average strength.
Huh.
But he is a robot.
He's like the best at being a robot?
Maybe pretty much.
Does anyone have more robot companions? Yeah.
Oh no, this technically counts because it's more like an AI.
It's okay.
Sure, but the Halo series going on.
Sure.
It's basically Master Chief's companion for most of it. Yeah, and she has lots of character development. She's a very integral part of the plot for every game. And yeah, because Master Chief barely talks, she's the one that does all the talking.
she argues, if you ask the question of what one is Halo, and sometimes on like Microsoft Windows, Halo is a story of a funky AI and her silent protagonist, silent companion equal.
That's cute. Yeah?
Another AI, Hero from the podcast Wolf 359.
Yes.
And there's definitely a lot of character development throughout the series with her.
Yes. I can't believe Brian Morganlander is absent from a time when someone brought up Wolf 359 and it was not him. But yes. You finished it?
Yes.
Yes.
In the 6th generation of Pokemon, the anime, there's one of the main characters is Clement, who's like the gym leader, and he's an inventor, so he creates a robot. And he's not the robot. Clement is not really a main character, but he shows up sometimes. He treated the same as like a person, but like is also sort of helps out with stuff. So sort of companion and also like helps out. And the fact that he's a robot sort of, it comes up a few times in interesting ways. I don't know.
Cool. Who else has, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
They're called the Tachikomas from the Ghost in the Shell series. They're more mainly used for like transportation, but they also do help out in the missions, like for having things. Life system. They do try to act human like. They do kind of have well, yeah, like at the end of every episode, like they have like little mini short episodes where they like goof around and you're like, oh, okay, you were doing this, I wonder why. And they kind of question things and they kind of maybe we should do like this, maybe we should do like that. So they kind of they're cute and stuff, but they are kind of programmed as to the transportation and cabin things, but they do try to like immerse themselves to kind of be kind of like it is kind of
Cool. Yeah?
Howley from South Park. He's a android towel that is used to try to take over humans in the universe, and the only way he forgets his orders and goes off the beach head by getting high.
This is right.
Yeah.
So in the episode of Howley, every time the full boys reference to do something, a naked the plant comes in like, don't forget to bring a towel. So South Park is weird.
I agree. Yeah.
Forgot the name of the robot, but the one from Interstellar, the like weird.
Oh.
Because he literally has this sassiness that name. Like you were talking about earlier, that suggested throughout the film.
Sass is easy to do when you want to interact with humans, but you're not exactly sure how, so you're just going to be like, it's funny, maybe it's not. Sassiness is sometimes in there, but it's a good time. Yeah.
Ben from Treasure Planet.
Ah.
Oh yeah. He was a robot that used to belong to this old pirate, like space pirate. Something like that. So the main character, Jim, ends up finding Ben like when they arrive at the planet where this pirate kept his treasure. So he finds Ben sort of lost his circuit that kind of his brain, so he's a little scatterbrained and obnoxiously loud. But I think it'd be good to bring up Ben.
Yeah.
Ninja and the Blue Centurion from Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, and from Turbo, because they were basically meant to assist Rangers at different eras and acting as international or planetary peacekeepers.
Please. Yeah.
RoboCop is a good hero.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He's figured his views at various points in it and admired at some points, but he's essentially when he's a RoboCop, he's pretty much just a robot. There's a lot of analog to capitalism essentially.
Nice one. Yeah.
Wondering why a lot of robots are depicted as sarcastic. Then I remembered that apparently there's some talk in the real world of making AI that will at least act embarrassed if something happens in their interaction with humans unexpected. The idea is that they act embarrassed, humans would be more accepting of some sort of mistake or flaw in the design of the robots. I wonder if having something like a sarcastic or embarrassed or something that's really human and seemingly unnecessary for a robot is something to do with the human-robot relations part of it. That humans might actually have a little more patience for a robot that starts back at them than a robot that just is completely robotic.
Yeah, if you think about like Siri and Alexa and stuff like that, that a lot of people interact with, like they purposely have responses that are to some degree like an emotional response or an apologetic response in order to make people feel more like not necessarily able to relate, but it is the response that a lot of people want back. It's really interesting. It's way cool.
The T-800 from Terminator. Like at least more so than this is Terminator 2, where he's with the young John Connor. The John Connor teaches him how to be cool, not be human, by like saying like also who's crazy, like how to smile, and like give thumbs up. So it's like
yeah.
And you actually see him like learn about like all those things John Connor teaches him at the very end. Spoilers for Terminator 2. I think I had said when he's going into the molten iron or whatever, he gets a thumbs up and goes down. So.
Yeah.
Westworld has kind of a cool perspective on it.
Yes.
Where it starts, you know, the robots in it, perfect for somewhat simulate the human mind and replicates the way that it would react to normal stimulus like pain and happiness and stuff. But it really starts to bring up the question, what does differentiate means if they do like, replicate it.
Yeah, no, Westworld is awesome. Everything is spoilers. It's very good. Watch it if you can. Starlet.
BT from Titanfall. Titanfall 2. So in the Titanfall universe, like there's like giant mecha, I guess they count as mecha, like giant mecha robots.
Hey, you can still talk about it.
Your like your characters will jump in and pilot them. And BT in the Titanfall 2 campaign is your like Titan.
Okay, kind of like the what it is?
Wait, kind of. He's pretty capable of like hiding himself to avoid the death.
Yeah.
Or actually call out his dad.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and when you're like hiding him, he's like an acting head from the morning.
He's a little Starky. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So if you find the first weapon upgrade, he starts talking about how cool this new weapon is, and then if you tease him, he says, if you tease him that he's in love with the weapon, he goes, the human concept of love requires admiration, attraction, devotion, and respect. Conclusion: I am 50% in love.
Do you guys remember those Kirby movies with the car?
Yes.
Is that magic or tech? I feel like it's magic.
It's magic.
Magic? Okay, just making sure. Cameron.
In KOTOR, we did a robot called HK47 who helps having your party, and pretty much before any statement, he like says like what it is, like observation. There are enemies over there. Mockery. Oh no, master, are you armed? And so it's like he'll ask a question. So it's he as opposed to like showing inflection with his words, he just states what his sentence is supposed to be before he says it.
I love it.
Someone hasn't made a game before.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, he was the older.
I'm sorry, what?
He's the character that everybody hates him. He's really useful, but he also is really happy all the time. He has a lot of reasons. If I sound happy, just because I'm programmed that way, I'm actually quite depressed. And it's never brought up ever again.
Oh wow!
This is like a random line that he's walking around too.
Goodness.
And no one shows it to his birthday party.
Ouch.
It's
Like
actually
Doofenshmirtz.
one of like horrid things to get through that game.
His parents didn't even show up to his own
He's
birth.
also, in fact, the last of the claptraps, because they were all destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, is it because they were rude?
They all sounded like names are surprised.
Yeah.
Really obscure 90s and children's anime, Metabots. Is the name of it? Alright, so basically it's this futuristic world where a bunch of kids like own robots that like battle with each other, like they fight for like to collect different parts of the robots, stuff like that.
Is it like Digimon?
I think it was a video game.
Sort of.
I think it was like a Digimon.
It was a Game Boy game first, but there was an anime, and so basically the main character Iki has this like cheap Metabot named Metabee, and so they're just sort of like learning to work as a team, but coach and fighter and stuff like that. And there's this wandering Metabot called Kusho, and fun little series.
Cool beans. Yeah.
I've got a couple. There's both of Ultron's children, Vision and then Victor Mancha, where they definitely learn quite a bit and try to become more than what their creator envisioned. Over the world for it, they instead help the heroes and fight against them. And then also another fun one, Cubics. Does anybody remember the cartoon Cubics? Basically, kind of like a from a rural area going into a city where everybody has robots. However, he does not because he came into the city and he was trying to find a robot. He finds these weird cube blocks and he's like trying to figure out how it works, only to create one of the unique robots ever. He found pieces of what was cubics, in which it could change into almost anything.
But cubics?
Yeah, cubics.
That Korean cartoon?
It was really goofy and it was just, it would turn into like a hover scooter, turn into different things.
The robot made of building blocks.
That sounds so cute.
Fight against a guy who was basically using robots or trying to modify cities' robots that are supposed to be taking care of the city to attack the people, and then they would have to neutralize that programming.
Oh.
It was weird and goofy.
I believe you.
Magic School Bus.
So Magic School Bus is very much magic, but the bus in Magic School Bus is also very much magic, but like you press buttons and it does stuff. Yeah, it's Doctor Who levels magic, but it has magic in the name. But I'm being Miss Frizzle for all of the sci-fi stuff anyway.
That magic is just really, really advanced technology.
Yeah, if you wanna. I mean, a lot of people do. We sometimes chat with Fantasy Club about that kind of stuff. It's very fun. Like Star Wars is Space Wizards, but like it's more magic than it's very magic. But like you can say it's sci-fi. We say it's sci-fi because we talk about it here. What?
That depends on what elements you're dealing with stars. You get into Genesis with the Force at all magic.
Yeah. Like, it's really interesting to talk about, but, like, at the same time, it is such a can of worms, and it's impossible to draw a straight line, so we just go, I love Doctor Who, the Magic Box Man. It's a good time. Do we have any other robots we want to talk about tonight? Okay, I'm going to hand it back over to our wonderful comms officer, John Fitch, and then afterwards, if people are interested, you're welcome to hang around, and I can put on more Brain Pop if you want. There's still some free ones that we can watch.
Oh, and is there
Yeah.
the one on computer viruses?
Yeah, I can see if it's up.
Captain is doing that. Just a quick reminder, if you want membership, Black Panther tickets, or Starfest tickets, chat up Tulio right over there. And also check the star calendar for Bridge Crew, PR Committee, or Webmaster meetings that are coming up this week. We hope to see all of you at something. So enjoy the Brain Pop.
Okay, let's see what options we have. Those are science options.
Is there a computers option?
Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah, these are the three that are available for engineering tech.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Sorry, Linda, but recording's back.